All right, traders, welcome to the Tribeca Trade Group end of day recap for Tuesday, November 17th. Overall theme for the day, pockets of momentum, definitely in some different areas. And I thought there were some really good trading opportunities, even though the performance for the day in the major indices wasn't all that great and maybe took a little bit of breather in some areas that were super hot. For example, SPY was down about a 0.5%, down almost 50 basis points. The Qs finished also fractionally lower. They sold off a little bit from the open. It really looks like some of just the bigger names in the Qs. If we just kind of take a look at this really quick. If you look at Qs and we look at the movers of the day, you're going to see obviously Tesla had a big day today. Splunk, JD had a decent day. Lulu had a good day. Docu, Autodesk, Adobe, and then on the downside, you did have a couple names in there like Walgreens that got beat up on the Microsoft news, but yeah, too, and if also I think some of the bigger names in the index too. Just you don't see them on the top of the leaderboard, and you don't see them on the bottom either. They just don't seem to be moving that much, and they do make up so much of the index. I'm basically talking about the FANG stocks. The FANG stocks today, for example, Apple, which I throw in there in the FANG, was down 0.75%. Amazon was flat after gave back all the gains for the day. Here's Amazon. By the way, this took out a Virgin point of control. Again, these things are, this is why we use the market webs, right? We don't. I think some people on Twitter think that I draw these lines in or something like that. But I did tweet this after this morning as soon as this Virgin point of control was taken out. Again, it's important a Virgin point of control VPOC because it's where previously buyers and sellers have met up before, and it's a big volume area that has just not been revisited, right? So you could kind of think of it as somebody probably has been waiting for the stock to get back there to sell a bit, right? Again, point of control in any value area, which this is the value area for this particular day. The point of control, which is the line here. You could see price never went through this, never revisited. So again, it becomes significant, and we see this time and time again. But there's one right there in Amazon, and that marked the high at 7:30 in the morning. All right, so these things they come into play again and again. When you're looking to take a target, or if you are looking to actually start a position and you see one of these Virgin point of controls right in front of you, you know that it's not the place to kind of to chase, right? To do that when you have that right in front of you. So again, if you had that, you knew that that was the high point at 7:30 in the morning, and there was nothing but a fade afterwards. So just to finish my point here, if you look at some of the other names. Facebook down 1.4%, Google. So again, we'll keep an eye on these, this group because they are so large and they make up such a big portion of the indices, but there just really doesn't seem a lot of trading opportunities. Apple's the one that I'm in and have been waiting on a break, but I'm in January calls. I have plenty of time. I mean, this thing closed on the lows again, this Apple. So there was a great point that was made in the Tribeca Trade Group trading room earlier that yes, we do see that some bigger investors are probably trimming their position a little bit, but it's still, it's very close to a breakout. So I'm being patient. It does need to close above call it 120, but 119.79 on my charts, but just to round up. Just so that you've got a little bit more confirmation. But notice again how well the value areas are doing. We talked about the Virgin point of control in Amazon, but look at the top of value as the barrier, right? I don't think you're going to see that on many charts unless you've got this type of study on your chart. But 120 is the place where it's got to break. And then my opinion is if it does break above 120, then you can start to see Apple move a little bit. But it needs to clear that hurdle. All right, so we'll continue to kind of watch this group, but for now, it's kind of I don't want to say a waste of time, but there's just much better things going on than this group, and they are kind of bogging down, the indices a little bit. IWM had a really nice day in terms of intraday move, right? So from a trading standpoint, they were lagging when we came into today, right? They were down about 0.75%. No, I think they were actually down more than that. I think they were down 1% today. And look at the move, from right around 9:45, a little bit before 10 o'clock. The small caps really got going again. So they're continuing to show relative strength as they perform the best out of the major indices today. All right, and then sectors, interesting, but the oil group continued to rally again. Remember, in small caps, you got the IWM ETF, obviously small caps. You've got regional banks. You've got small biotech, healthcare names. You also have some energy in there too. And they outperformed again. The pot stocks did well today. And again, on an intraday basis, right? In terms of overall best performance, still XOP was up 1.6%. The clean energy ETF continues to be very strong. A lot of opportunities in that again today. Some of the smaller names are really acting well. This fuel cell was a name that I got into yesterday. Was up 10% for the day, so it hit a high of 452. So, again, if you look at this ETF and what's in it, I think some of the solar names actually got going today too, a bit. But KNDI, where there was an announcement today about that stock, up 17%. Blink, which was, all of these names have been seeing call activity that were the big movers for the day. Run was up 5.3%. ENPH, that was a name that we talked about, I think, in yesterday's video, or at least I tweeted that out. I don't remember if we mentioned it in yesterday's video, but it did get over what I said was watch for a break of 122. So it did its job. It got up to 125 today, so a break above value. And I saw this in a lot of more momentum names today, right? Team was a name that we talked about yesterday, which had some option activity at the end of the day. This made it all the way through the value area. Twilio also did the same, nice trending day in Twilio. TTD, these are all names that I mentioned on, well, maybe not Twilio, but most of these names are I mentioned them on Twitter. So real nice move. This is probably one of the best moves in this space today, up 6.5%. Again, that's TTD, not Twilio. But very strong. Just to kind of round out the performance. Yeah, the banks were up as well. What didn't perform, the Chinese internet names were down 2.5% for the day. So a few different groups just didn't exactly perform for the day, but I thought that there was some really good trading opportunities. I took off the team that I added yesterday right at the end of the day. TUP was a nice trade opportunity. I traded a lot of names with symbol that started with a T. This was up 12% today. So a lot of just nice moves out of consolidation or out of a flag or pennant pattern. You got a VPOC, you got a couple of VPOCs up here, but nice move. And this kind of gave an opportunity to day trade a little bit today. Right, I clearly did not hold on to this one. 34 was enough for me. For this particular one, like Tupperware is not a name that I really want to hold long. Hold for a swing trade. But for day trading or even an overnight trade is fine for me. Square was a nice one too. Bitcoin made this huge move today, up 4.3% and has been trending higher. Names like Riot went crazy today. This was up 48% today. This was a name that we broke down pre-market. So we talked about this name, daily chart and then the weekly chart, right? So this actually broke value. So let's see if it holds there by the end of the week. 546. Right, is the top of value for the year. So nice. I think a lot of traders and by the way, like the group of traders that we have at Tribeca Trade Group, we're just on top of just a ton of moves today. It's tough to kind of participate in every one of these names, right? You could see all the trading that I did comparatively versus yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty light trading day for me. Today I kind of attacked a little bit more. I just thought that there was a lot more opportunities. This JMIA also gave a little bit of a trading opportunity too for the day. I think this thing can move a little bit more, but again, happy with names that go run 10% in a day. I'm pleased with. This thing closed close to the high of the day. What else? I was able to get out of the Carvana spread that I got into last week, so that was a nice winning trade. In at 345, out at 6. Roku, I kind of fell asleep on a little bit on Roku. I was in a short-term trade in this one, and as you know, with short-term option trades, they're going to move quickly. If they don't move in especially if they don't move in your favor. So Roku may be one to watch for tomorrow. Perhaps I should have just traded a little bit of stock, but Roku options are expensive. So I did take a target right away, and then the last position I just held on to a little bit too long. What else? Then just took advantage of the market, just getting out of a couple positions I've been holding. I don't want to hold low through earnings, so got out of that name. So yeah, I mean, all in all, really good day trading wise. A little bit more movement, I thought, in some stocks than what we've been seeing the last couple days, which is kind of a gap up, and then not much of a move during the day. In terms of our weekend watch list. There's still, I think, a lot of decent setups on here too, but we're now up 2.9% for the week. In terms of this, Boeing was another name that had some follow-through action today. Now up 12.2% for the week. Brinker, of course, I had the trade desk on here. FedEx also had a little bit of continuation. Cloudflare got going today. So again, how this works, by the way, and why I'm so focused on these names is for two reasons. I went over this in yesterday's video too, but here's basically how I am positioned, how I'm positioning in this type of market right now. All right, so of course, my trading account, which I just showed you all those trades, the weekly watch list trade, I'm using this in two different ways. Number one, I'm buying all these on Monday morning, holding them for the week, then legging out of them on Friday and legging into SPY, holding that over the weekend. So yes, I do own those names that I just brought up there in terms of the weekly watch list, and I own them for a week. Again, the idea of this, one of my colleagues gave me an idea to do this trade because they were following it without me knowing. They had mentioned that since we've been having such good outperformance in that weekend watch list, somebody was actually trading this, and I said, hey, that's a pretty good idea, and I figured I'm doing all this work, I might as well actually put the trade on to see if, hey, not just for talking purposes that I'm outperforming the S&P, but I can actually get, have the performance. So we do this in a system called M1 Finance. That's the brokerage system which lets you do a little bit of portfolio trading in there. And then, of course, the trend portfolio too is, more I don't want to call it buy and hold, but we're following the trend in about 30 different names. So that's been working really well for me, and we'll continue to kind of do that. And when I see fit in terms of the trading account to kind of move a little bit more into cash or rotate out of some names, I've got more flexibility, obviously, in the trading account. All right, guys. So great night, great day overall. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.